Happy New Year, everybody! I hope you all felt some joy this holiday season and that you have an incredible 2025. This is my 1000th YouTube video, which is crazy. And most of you already know this about me, but as you can see by the title of this video, I, John Sargent, am a gay ex-Mormon atheist dealing with quiet borderline personality disorder. And yeah, I wanted to make a video to kind of cover these 4 topics all together, kind of from a bird's eye view. And I'm going to try to cover a lot of ground in one take with no editing. And yes, I'll probably ramble and get on side tangents, but and I have a little outline typed up here on my laptop, so I'll be looking off to the side a lot during the video to follow along with the outline. But anyway, yeah, it's around 9 p.m. right now on January 1st, 2025, and I'm going to try to post this video before midnight or shortly after on YouTube and my Facebook too. Anyway, but yeah, this is also episode 6 of John's Ramblings, a series that I've done kind of on and off since 2021, where I just ramble about whatever. And yeah, I've wanted to make this specific video for about a year. And I've already shared pretty publicly about these 4 topics on like Facebook and a little bit on my YouTube over the years. But again, I wanted to make this video to bring it all together. But yeah, I've had a lot of fear about making this video and anxiety and insecurity and vulnerability and crippling perfectionism and self-consciousness, awkwardness. I'm kind of scatterbrained a lot of times when I talk to a camera or just, public speaking, I suck at it. And I tend to kind of word vomit and overanalyze and over-explain and trauma dump a little bit. And so, yeah, I don't want this to come across as like me being a victim or having a pity party. And I have been, afraid of being more vulnerable on YouTube with videos about my life, because of hate comments and people being judgy assholes. And yes, I probably will swear during this video. So if that's not your cup of tea, you can click off. Yeah, because I like to fucking swear a lot of times. So, especially since I left the LDS church / cult 7 years ago this month in January 2018. So anyway, let's see. But yeah, I have survived a lot of hard things, and I also, want to thrive and speak my truth, and I feel like my story is worth sharing, and a lot of other people that have shared their stories publicly have really helped me to process my story, especially in these 4 areas that I'm going to talk about today. And I'd love to hear your stories. If you have any personal connection to these topics, please do share, especially if you're LGBT or if you're an ex-Mormon or ex-religious person or atheist, or dealing with borderline personality disorder, or any other mental health issues. Anyway, but yeah, life is hard and traumatic for all of us, and but it's also beautiful and full of hope and love, and yeah, I'm just hoping to kind of turn over a new page into 2025 and be braver and just be more open. And yeah, so I'm gonna ramble a little bit in some introductory stuff first, but I started this YouTube channel in 2011. But I started posting more consistently in April 2014. And as of right now, at the beginning of this year, I have about 3.3 thousand subscribers and 1.3 million total views of my channel. We'll see where that's at the beginning of 2026. This is kind of more just an informal portfolio for me, this YouTube channel, where I just dump music videos and cat videos and other stuff. So I know some people have channels where they have, multiple videos that have 1 million views. My whole channel has 1 million views, but I don't really care about all that. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, for me, I just love sharing my life on YouTube and Facebook and connecting with others and just being creative and weird and open. I have a lot of YouTube ideas for 2025. Again, more music videos, videos of my cat, Indy, more rambling, maybe videos about these four topics. I also really want to maybe start doing movie reviews because I watch a lot of movie review videos here on YouTube. And I'm going to go ahead and keep my video count at 1,000 probably for at least a year or two, because I'm actually going to be purging at least like 100 or 200 plus videos on my channel. Now that I'm, in a very different place in my life than I've been in the past, I want to purge a lot of Mormon stuff from my channel that's cringy now, like Mormon music and Christian music in general. I've already purged quite a bit of LDS specific music, but and I don't know, just videos where there's like Jesus in the background or church stuff or temple pictures. Also, I was a mega fan of the YouTube comedian Miranda for a decade, from 2013 to 2023. And a lot of you probably know she had a huge, or she got majorly canceled last year. And I have quite a few Miranda videos on my channel, or just pictures of Miranda in the background of my videos. And so I am now an ex-fan of Miranda Sings. And so I do want to take down some of that stuff, just because I have lost a lot of respect for Colleen Ballinger, who is the actress that plays Miranda Sings. Yeah, that's been hard. Maybe I'll make a separate video about that. But yeah, there's just a lot of stuff I want to take down from my channel, and maybe some stuff, connected to some of my exes, or maybe videos that have some family members and pictures in the background that I don't really, talk to those family members anymore. But anyway, yeah, the last few years have been pretty rough. A lot of like roommate trauma and moving around a lot between Salt Lake and Utah County, and then the pandemic and money problems. And during 2023 and 2024, I've kind of gone into the eye of the hurricane with all of my gay Mormon trauma in therapy. Excuse me. And I don't know, there's just been family tension. And yeah, this holiday season I did spend Thanksgiving and Christmas alone, which was rough because of some family drama. And I also was going to give a house concert here in my living room, here in Pleasant Grove, Utah, for about 20 to 25 people on December 22nd. It was going to be called John's Atheist Xmas Concert. And I had it all the songs chosen, and then I ended up having to cancel it about a week before because of family stuff and also mental health problems and things. So, but I was able to salvage it somewhat by posting a lot of YouTube music videos of songs that I was going to perform in the concert. So I'm going to maybe try to do a house concert every other month during 2025, like February, April, June, etc. Also, speaking of Christmas, you can see my Christmas lights here in the background. And also I painted my nails red and green, sparkly green, kind of chipping off, on Christmas Day while watching Home Alone 2, which is my favorite holiday movie. And also right now my hair is like the longest it's ever been. It's kind of curling up in the back and on the sides. So yeah, I just decided I'm just going to let my hair grow out for a long time until I hate it. Also, I'm wearing this gold star shirt for New Year's, for a New Year's feel, but and a little snippet about my New Year's Eve, and you can share about yours in the comments if you want. Well, to preface this, I saw the new Wicked movie at the beginning of December, and it's now my all-time favorite movie. It dethroned Inside Out, which was my favorite movie from 2009 to last month. Or sorry, 2015 to last month. And then before that, it was Finding Nemo, which was my favorite from 2003 to 2015. So Pixar has been dethroned by Wicked. So yesterday I went and saw the sing-along version in theaters with about like 60 people in the theater, and sung my little heart out to Wicked tunes and cried. And anyway, and then I did about 8 hours of Uber driving late last night, between like 6:30 to like 2:30, 3:30 in the morning. And they were offering a lot of bonuses last night for Uber drivers. So I made the most money I've ever made with a day of Uber since I started in April 2023 as a side hustle. So I got $400, which is about 50 an hour. So that was exciting. And I got to ring in the new year up in Salt Lake. And anyway, in the middle of Uber driving. Anyway, and then also last week I set a goal to move out of Utah before 2027 starts. Hopefully to California or the West Coast, or to somewhere in the US that's more LGBT friendly than fucking Utah, which is like the worst place to live when you're LGBT. And speaking of 27, since I want to move out of Utah before 2027, 27 is a significant number for me right now, because I spent 27 years growing up in Mormonism from when I was born in 1990 until 2018, when I was 27 and a half. And then when I move out of Utah, hopefully in the next year or two, I will have spent 27 years in Utah, living here since 1999 until 2026. I'm hoping to move like summer or fall 2026. And then also, random, if any of you know Stephen King's book It, or the TV show adaptation, or the two movie versions that are newer. Pennywise, the killer clown, comes to Derry, Maine every 27 years to kill people and children, and it's a terrifying story. But I read that book summer of last year, and I love the movies and the TV series. And the kids in the book have to face their fears, and then 27 years later, Pennywise comes back, and they have to come back as a losers club and defeat him once and for all, and have to kind of face their childhood trauma. And so I feel like lately I've been facing a lot of my, wounds and shadows from the past. And so I feel like I can relate to the characters in It having to face their deepest fears. So yeah, and this video has been one of my deepest fears for like the last year. I'm like, I want to make it every month. I've been planning to make this, but it was just too scary and too big. And so we're going to try to tackle this. So anyway, as kind of a general intro, I wanted to kind of set up these topics really fast. And I'm also going to kind of be sharing some quotes throughout this video. So, and again, hopefully it'll be around 30 minutes. Bear with me, and even if nobody watches this, whatever, this will be therapy for me. So yeah, let's start with a Brene Brown quote. I love Brene Brown. Her books and videos are very healing. Anyway, okay. So this is one of my favorite quotes from her. She said, "Owning our story and loving ourselves through that process is the bravest thing we'll ever do." Love that. It's beautiful. And that's what I'm trying to do in this video, and I've tried to do in the past, and I also want to do in the future. And I really admire anybody else that's opened up about their story. And then one of my best friends, Rebecca Black, who I've accompanied before in the past, she's a wonderful friend and vocalist. She shared this on Facebook yesterday from Hailey, magee. The quote said, "Most people will never see the lifetime of invisible effort you've invested into reaching a point where you can finally speak up, even though you're afraid. To reaching a point where you can finally say no, even though everyone around you wants you to say yes. To reaching a point where your own integrity finally matters more to you than others' passing approval. Most people will never see that effort, but I hope you do. I hope you take a moment to celebrate how hard you've worked to get here." Yeah, that quote really hit home for me as well. And yeah, with these 4 topics I'm talking about in this video, obviously, there's other parts of my personality. Like I've been a freelance pianist in Utah for the last 13 years. I'm a cat dad to a wonderful kitty. I'm a shutterbug. I love just taking photos of everybody and everything. I love to rollerblade. I'm obsessed with movies. I'm addicted to Panda Express, etc. But I wanted to talk about these 4 in one video because there's just a lot of stigma attached to these, and also a lot of trauma for me. And I've learned a lot through this journey, just kind of accepting these 4 parts of myself and learning to reconcile them. I've also made a lot of mistakes. I've hurt a lot of people, and I've been hurt by a lot of people because of these 4 areas of my life. Yeah. So here we go. Let's start with the first topic. I'm gay, which is obvious. And I'm proud to be gay. I wasn't always. It took me a long time to get here. But yeah, also I might kind of overlap between some of these four topics as I go, but I'll try to kind of talk about each the four words at a time. So let's talk about being gay first. Yay! So let's start with two quotes. This is something I saw from the Utah Pride Center recently. They were doing a religious trauma workshop, which I've attended one of their religious trauma workshops in the past. So this was the description for the Facebook event. It said, religious trauma among the LGBTQ plus community looms large and has left deep wounds for many. Right now in the world, and in Utah particularly, the religious culture can make coming out and becoming one's true self a difficult and costly process. Often it means losing family, losing community, and losing faith. Yeah. And I've pretty much lost all three of those. And it sucks. And yeah, I love my family. I I'm so grateful for the hundreds of Mormon friends in my life as well. But it's been tough because the LGBT community and the LDS community do not mix well. And there's just no place in the LDS church for LGBT people. It's very, very toxic and very abusive toward people like me. And also, toward racial minorities and women. It's just, yeah, it pretty much just works for straight white men. That's kind of the main demographic for the LDS church or cult. And I'm a white man, so I had that level of privilege in the church, but I was anything but straight. So, and maybe if I was still straight, maybe I would still be in the church. Maybe, I wouldn't have dug deep into all of the, the issues in the church, or my own sense of identity and stuff if I'd been straight. I don't know, but I know a lot of straight people leave the church too for a lot of valid reasons as well. And then the other quote I wanted to share about just the LGBT community was from Mindy Gledhill, who's one of my all-time favorite singer-songwriters. She is an icon here in Utah as a wonderful ex-Mormon musician. Anyway, so yeah, she said a couple years ago, perhaps the most loving thing we can do for our LGBTQ world family is to stop giving our time, loyalty, and money to the organizations that continually oppress them. Preach, Mindy, because that is spot on. And I think, that's why I have a hard time trusting my Mormon family and friends, because they are giving their time, loyalty, and money to the church, which is just so hurtful and traumatizing to the LGBT community. Anyway, you can't have both. You can't be in the LDS church and be an LGBT ally. It just doesn't mix. Like, you can maybe, try to be progressive or nuanced in the church with some issues, but eventually, especially with the LGBT issue, like, you can't choose both. That's what I believe. And for me, I maybe lived in some of that gray area for a while, as I was exiting the church, but in the end I realized that I couldn't have both. Anyway, so yeah, let's start kind of with my coming out timeline. I realized I was gay when I was 12. There were maybe, some earlier signs before that age, but, and then when I was 15, on New Year's Eve, 2015, hold on a second. That was the last day of President Hinckley's Book of Mormon challenge that year. Sorry, my crown is bugging me. Maybe I'll just take that off because it keeps sliding down my head. Yeah, President Hinckley challenged everybody in the church to read the Book of Mormon before the end of 2015. And I ended up reading a ton of the chapters on New Year's Eve to finish. And I think I read the Book of Mormon like 9 times while I was in the LDS church for those 27 years growing up. Anyway, lots of not so good feelings about the Book of Mormon now. But so I just think it's a made-up book and Bible fan fiction, and there's a lot of racism in there, and just, yeah, it's there's a lot of good stuff in there too. But anyway, so when I finished the book, again, I went in my closet on New Year's Eve 2015, to, pray to know if it was true, which is what you're supposed to do when you finish the Book of Mormon. And yeah, I literally went into my closet in my bedroom in Orem, where I grew up since I was 9. And then I felt this prompting to come out of the closet, literally. And then I went to my mom and told her I was, dealing with same-sex attraction, as the church likes to coin it. And then later that night, I told my dad as well. And yeah, and then during high school, my safety team was my parents, my bishop, and my conversion therapist, because my parents put me in conversion therapy for all of high school. So yeah, fuck that. Because that's now illegal for minors here in Utah. And that just started a long timeline of self-hatred for me and trauma. And it was so unnecessary. All my parents needed to do was just love and accept me and celebrate me as I was. And a lot of this mess could have been spared in my life. But unfortunately, my parents did the best they could, and they, grew up in the church their whole lives, and they thought being gay was wrong and like one of the worst things you could be, or act upon. Anyway, yeah, this is hard to talk about, but so yeah, I dealt with a lot of internalized homophobia when I was in the church, and also from age 12 on, I was dealing with porn and masturbation, which is a big no-no in the church. Now I, have very different views about masturbation, where I feel like it's just completely normal and healthy, and that should have never been shamed, I should have never told, so many bishops from age 12 to 27 about my masturbation, cycles and how many days per month or whatever. Pornography is maybe a different issue. I won't get into that right now because I know that's more controversial, but basically from age 12 on, I was masturbating at least like once a week. And because of that, I was never like worthy enough in the church, for a lot of callings. I also didn't have a temple recommend from like age 13 to 23. We'll come back to that in a second. Maybe this video will be a little bit longer than 30 minutes. We'll see. Because I'm not getting very far on this outline, and I don't want to have to film a part 2, but, okay. We'll try not to embellish too much now, but, and then what was kind of the turning point for me was when I was 21 in summer 2011, I fell in love with a guy for the first time, like with a mutual attraction. And, and I also didn't serve an LDS mission, if you're wondering, because I was too afraid of being attracted to my companions. But yeah, so when I was 21, I fell in love with another gay Mormon and had sex for the first time, which was actually really beautiful and meaningful. And but then I freaked out, and talked to my bishop about it, and I was disfellowshipped from the church for about a year. Sorry, my nose is itchy because of my beard and my nose hair that I need to trim. But anyway, so at that point in 2011, I kind of doubled down with the church and entered the wonderful, awful world of Evergreen and North Star. Some of you probably know what I'm talking about. They're basically organizations that help LGBT Mormons stay in the church. Evergreen has now kind of merged into North Star. And yeah, I was part of North Star from like 2011 to 2020 or 2017, from age 21 to 27. That did a lot of damage too. Maybe I'll make a separate video about that sometime. And I just kept falling in love with like gay Mormons constantly during those 6 years. And yeah, basically there was just no pathway forward for me in the church, except, marry a woman in a mixed orientation marriage or stay celibate, which is not going to work for me because I have a very high sex drive and I'm very gay, and I'm not bisexual at all. So, marrying a woman is not going to work either. And, or else, kill myself or just date men and just be me. And so, yeah, but for most of my 20s, I said internally that I'd rather kill myself than go on a simple date with a guy. Yeah, that's how fucking toxic the LDS church is. it makes people want to kill themselves, especially LGBT people. And it's messed up. It's so fucking messed up. Yeah. I got lots of rage around these issues. Anyway, so the last 4 years I was in the church, from 2014 to 2017, let me backtrack. At the end of 2013, I set a goal to finally go to the LDS temple for the first time in 10 years, which meant that I had to pull back from porn and masturbation for at least a month, because that's what most of my bishops wanted for most of my youth. So I finally did that and just white knuckled it. And I got my temple recommend back at the beginning of 2014. And at that point I set a goal to visit all the Utah temples in 2014. And I just did baptisms in a few temples. I actually have never been endowed in the temple. But yeah, I know what happens in those really culty ceremonies now. Yeah, so I'm really grateful that I didn't go through that. But yeah, so a couple months into 2014, I fell back into porn and masturbation, which was a big no-no in the church. And but I kept the goal to, keep visiting temples. And actually did it for 4 years in a row, which is ridiculous. And I basically just visited the temple lobbies and the grounds and took a lot of pictures. It feels really cringy now and really self-righteous. I need to take down a lot of my LDS temple and church pictures from my Facebook too, because they just don't represent where I'm at now, and they make me feel really, really sad. But they're beautiful buildings, but there's just a lot of culty, awful things that happen in there that, anyway, that's, again, another topic for another video. But I also had a girlfriend for the first half of 2014, and she was wonderful. She was my best friend at the time for my singles ward in Provo. But I think that experience really showed me that I'm very gay, and that wasn't fair, to put a woman through, dating a gay guy, and so yeah, at that point I just decided I was going to be celibate in the church from that point. Anyway, so I finally hit my breaking point in January 2018, 7 years ago. And I stepped away from the church that month and started dating guys the same month, like on Tinder, through dating apps. And I've also been on and off. I've been on and off Tinder and Grindr for the last 7 years. Don't judge me about Grindr. Anyway, but I met hundreds of wonderful people through those apps, and some people that I never want to see again. But also in January 2018, I started dialectical behavioral therapy, which is the gold standard treatment for borderline personality disorder. I'll get to that in a second, later in the video. But and I've had 2 ex-boyfriends. One was in 2018 for like a month or two, and then the other one, we were best friends for about a year around 2020, and then we were boyfriends after that for about 5 months. And I really respect all 3 of my exes, the girlfriend and the 2 boyfriends. And hopefully one day I'll have another boyfriend or husband. We'll see. Also, I did come out as he, they pronouns on Facebook on National Coming Out Day this October, because I've always been kind of non-binary-ish, as you can tell with my nails and just, my personality. Like, I've never felt like, I guess, man enough, but now I'm just like, what, I'm perfect as I am. Like, I never needed to shame myself for not feeling like manly enough, because a lot of my feminine traits, or presentation, I'm proud of now, and I have a lot of friends across the spectrum with gender, whether they're non-binary or trans, and I love and respect all of them, and I just finally want to own the fact that I like to gender bend, in a lot of different ways, and I want to embrace more of that for myself. Anyway, but yeah, I'll say one more thing about LGBT stuff. I'm really, really not looking forward to Mr. fucking Trump being back in the White House this month. What a complete nightmare for our whole country in so many ways. And obviously, for the LGBT community, like, he is not a safe president at all, and right after the most like pro LGBT presidency with Biden and Kamala Harris, yeah, I really, really wish Kamala Harris had won because I had a lot of respect for her, you know, and obviously, you know, she was an LGBT ally. Anyway, and with the LDS cult, I don't even really call it the LDS church anymore because it's a fucking cult because it crosses off all the boxes of all the cult stuff. The next prophet in line to be the prophet is Dallin H. Oaks, who is one of the most homophobic and transphobic people ever. So yeah, we have that to look forward to here in Utah soon. Whenever Rusty Nelson passes away, our current or their current prophet, who just turned 100. Anyway, he's also been pretty awful too, you know, with the gay policy and the trans policy, you know, that anyway, that has, you know, been dramatic for the last many years with anyway, I'm getting off track here, but yeah, the LDS church is just not a safe place for LGBT people, and the state of Utah is not safe. But yeah, and I don't know, I think just entering a Trump presidency feels like our whole country is not going to feel safe in a lot of ways for a lot of, you know, people, especially, you know, obviously LGBT people, women, racial minorities. Yeah, he only cares about himself and maybe, you know, straight white men and rich people. Anyway, okay, we're already at the 30-minute point. Dang it. Okay. Yeah, maybe I should just, I don't know, should I cut it off here or should I keep going? I don't know. I don't know. Now I'm torn. Maybe I should cut it off right here and make some follow-up videos about the other three areas: ex-Mormonism, atheism, and quiet borderline personality disorder. Yeah, maybe let's do that. I tried my best in this video, but I guess I only got to the gay stuff. I knew I was going to ramble in this video, but maybe in the next couple of videos I make, I'll try to cover those other three topics, just so this video isn't insanely long. But yeah, I wrote a lot of notes about those other three areas, but I think I'm going to maybe cut it off here and practice setting that time boundary because we're already at about half an hour. But yeah, maybe just to wrap this up, I just, at this point, you know, I want to find more healing for myself in these four areas because a lot of trauma has happened within these areas. And you know, I don't want to be hateful to any groups of people. Like, obviously I have you know, total distrust when it comes to Mormons, you know, and when I left the church, you know, I was able to, you know, love and accept a lot of people that are different. You know, when you're in the church, it's very insulated, you know, and you're mostly just interacting with other Mormons. But now, like, I, you know, really try not to judge any type of people, except I do struggle with, you know, judging Mormons because of how judgy they are, I guess, toward everybody else. You know, I'm not saying every single Mormon, you know, there's a lot of progressive or nuanced Mormons, but you know, so I want to be careful, you know, as I continue to make videos to not, you know, be bigoted or hateful, but I want to talk about the issues. I want to talk about the way that the church harms people, the cult harms people, and the ways that I've been able to kind of heal and take my power back, and you know, kind of my journey into atheism and also just how my mental health has played out over the years. And I'll say one thing about borderline. I've had the borderline personality disorder diagnosis for about a decade, since 2015, and I could say a lot about that. But for now, let's cut it off. And I wish you all the best this year, and thanks for watching to the end. If you made it this far, I know I kind of ramble and probably repeat myself a lot, but yeah, this is me, and I'm gonna try to just be a little bit more gentle with myself this year and let myself be imperfect, and you let myself express my feelings and not be afraid of judgment. You know, if there's hate comments, whatever, I'll probably just leave them there. And maybe probably not engage with most of them, but for anybody that has watched this, you know, if you leave a sweet comment, just know I appreciate you, and I wish you the best on your journey with whatever you're struggling with. And I hope we can all just love each other, and that we can survive a Trump presidency. Anyway, but yeah, let me put this little crown back on and And yeah, I guess in the words of Defying Gravity, if I'm flying solo, at least I'm flying free. And right now, I do feel like I'm kind of flying solo in a lot of ways as a gay ex-Mormon atheist dealing with quiet BPD. Um, but it's going to be okay. And I want to continue to heal and let people kind of back into my life more and more and just kind of rebuild. Because a lot of, there's been a lot of deconstruction of Mormonism and Christianity. And it's just, I don't know, just figuring out my identity, with dealing with borderline. Just borderline contributes to a lot of instability in self-image and relationships with people. And so I'm just trying to find myself as a person and a musician, and it's going to be okay. I'm just going to just keep trying and not give up and just take it one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 minute at a time. And yeah, I love you all and be well. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.